How's it going? So just an update. I was just cutting with a 41 red top. That nut on the clutch just come off mid-cut. So I'm tightening it right now. Before my mate gets back, I've actually got a customer today. Might film it, see how I go. iPad's still uploading, 6%. It's been going for an hour now. Too many kids on the internet. This saw is pretty good, man. With the 18-inch bar on it, it's pretty lethal. It's done 2 cuts in the same timber that I used the other day. Right at the bottom of the second cut, it started making funny noises. I knew it was the nut on the clutch. This chain's still sharp after 3-4 cuts. Sorry about using the phone. Put a phone holder in my car. I could probably use to do this. Get me light, my kids bought me for Father's Day. That wasn't too helpful. Just undid the nut again. Righto, where'd I put that rope? Right there. .32, I've still got to do a few more cuts to let it run in and tune it properly. It didn't want to start before. This one took about 4 or 5 pulls, no choke, no throttle lock, and it fired straight up. But the 32 still needs, well, it needs probably should put another carby kit in it, just to be sure. This one could probably do with a kit, because you've seen how the diaphragm, not the diaphragm, that red gasket folded up on itself when it got exposed to air. Now this clutch, I will change to the Stihl one. Got the pad on it. I don't know if I should put Loctite on I don't really want to do that, so we'll tighten it up and see how we go. The cut's pretty good with 2 shoes and Stihl on the other side, so. But how tight is tight? I think that'll do. The shoes can still move, I think. Yep. Back off the rope. I thought clean my bench off to work on this. It's a petrol edger. Apparently. Missing a wheel come off or something. Might have to do, well, I can't until I get a new kill switch. I might use it off the XL12, because I've got to use the screwdriver to earth it out from the switch to the handle. And I might put a new carby kit in it before I do that. The full throttle, shut it off, make sure the plug's a little bit black. I think it's supposed to be brown. It runs pretty good for what it is. Bogs down probably until about that far in the cut, and then it just opens up. And the muffler's already cold. It was running literally 10 minutes ago. And the boot I'll change, maybe. Still got to do the grommets. She oils well. I actually had to turn it down. Being the rim sprocket, it might be robbing it of some power too. Just thinking there. Yeah, what else have I got to get? I've got to get more, excuse me, bar studs, nuts I mean. All in due time when restrictions are lifted. It'll happen one day. I might just see if this Farm Boss side cover fits it. It might not. Actually it goes, sort of doesn't. It fits, but the muffler's a slightly different design. So instead of coming right to there, like the Farm Bosses do, it comes across there. So, kind of hard to do on this angle, like that. Instead of down there, it goes across there. That buck spike will be going on the inside one day when I don't have so much on. So just backing the tension to back off. Sorry about the angle. Back the tension to back off so I can get the cover back on. I could probably turn the oiler up again a touch, because the sawdust in the inside the cover's not wet. And once Sag and Spezzy can post back to Australia again, I'll order another bar, or 2 or 3. I might even put a Stihl. Put Stihl bars on, I think. I can get them pretty cheap. There's a bloke on there at the moment selling the Roll-O-Matic E's for around, well, I can get a bar and a chain for 70 bucks. It's both Stihl. I don't know if it's Chinese now because they're made there. I'm running the chain on this quite loose. Probably to how Bucking has his. I used to go like a 5-cent piece between the saddle and the bar. Now I can probably fit a 5-cent piece under the drive link in the bar, if that makes sense. I might just have a peek in the bar oil tank. 3/4 full when I filled it yesterday. Doesn't leak when it's sitting. And it's probably dropped 6 mil over 4 cuts. It's pretty good. So yeah, for everyone that was wondering, I had a look at the top end kits again this morning on eBay. So there's a place in Vic, I think it's Victoria, that is, Australia. I think they've got something to do with the Forestry Guild. $238 for the top end kit. Free postage. The company in Italy I was talking about yesterday, so it's without looking up, I can't stop the recording and talk at the same time, but without looking at it, I'm pretty sure it was $173 for the top end. Postage was $230 from Italy to here. Slight variation in the top end, so it doesn't have the 2 holes for the rear handle to screw to into the cylinder. Plus, it had a decomp valve, so that's really not any good to me. And I'm guessing the kit that's in Australia's Pharmatech intake port looks exactly the same as my orange top, not this variation that I had on the red top. So there's possibility there for the Farm Boss, but I still need a crank, coil. I actually have electronic one somewhere. Hope I didn't throw it out. If I threw it out, it's still in the trailer because we can't go to the tip. So that's my findings. The same company in Italy do the AV mounts for the handlebar, the front handlebar down the bottom, and the 4 for your top handle, if that makes sense. So you can still get parts. Majority, they're all aftermarket, but if you want genuine AV for the top end, for the handlebar, the front one, you can still get them at a Stihl shop. Well, I can at mine, which comes from Stihl Melbourne, Australia, I think it's called. So they just get you order the parts and they transfer it. So, conclusion, happy with this saw. I can activate the choke with my tuning screwdriver through, sorry about the mess, still got to clean the bench, through that groove, or I can come from behind and push it forward. And when I started at cold start this morning, it's actually sprung back when I took the throttle lock off. Maybe that's how it's designed with the with the bends in the throttle linkage. I will keep you updated with this saw. Let you know if it opens up. The more I use it, at the moment it's only getting used in the backyard on 12 to 18 inch Aussie hardwood logs. Where that rubber mat is sitting, I'm having a log, up to about there, and I'll have my saws crisscross stored there, the little ones. So 019, 020 up to 026, they'll be stored in that log. It's out the door drying out, it's been out in the rain. So I've just got to cut the grooves in it, and that'll be there soon. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for watching. Uru. How's it going? Just cleaned it up on my wire wheel. It's going on the A41. Can't really see, I'm using my phone still. So I've put the nut in the case. Pretty sure factory mount them, the bolt in the case. Or I'm not the factory. Still waiting for my neighbour to bring that petrol edger. I'm just tinkering around while I wait. So clean the bench off, swept the floor, hung that archer bar on the wall, literally right there. Gasket, the spare gasket kit for the 04, what this saw, or the orange top, whichever one, Farm Boss, whichever one only gaskets left. This is the fuel tank and one of the intake manifold gaskets. So the storage racks where you get these things on, I mounted that to the wall next to Ned and Bucking. Only tools I got on the bench now are the drills, the little rattle gun calipers. The calipers will be mounted up there when I find something to hang them up there with. So yeah, I'm still working out how I'm going to hang the steel straight shaft up. I normally use these butcher hooks, but I haven't got any screw-in hooks for the roof. I've run out. So yeah, and I just realised, probably can't see the switch. I've got a spare one on the XL12. I might change that right now after I put the bar and chain back on. If my neighbour brought me some more wood today so I can do some more cuts. I've also am thinking about doing storing the saws and the log side by side. I think I've already mentioned it, but that length he bought me is pretty cracked. I don't know if it'll hold, or as soon as I start cutting it'll split. It's only for me, I think I mentioned before in the video, it's only for me small saws. MS 019, the T handles, the 170s, the two 023s, 024, 026. So you can see why I don't like the muffler. It just shoots it straight onto the case. If I bend those louvers straight, it might shoot it. Because the guts is straight out, hopefully. So let's have a look what it looks like with two spikes. Did you see when I did the size comparison why I can't have an outer spike on the orange top? Because the clutch cover's broken down the bottom. So it'll only be held by one bolt up the top. Just thought about maybe I could put a washer each side, but then you're risking the breaking it even more. So I'll keep an eye out for one of those. 2 seconds. Yeah, it's just a standard. I thought it might have had the holding top for the chain brake. Doesn't. Gone all quiet for some reason. Neighbours are doing some renos. That means renovations. We were making a fair racket before. It stopped all of a sudden. Stayed how it was. How good's that? Beautiful, look at that. They even line up, except the bottom one. It's because the one on this one's worn. It's probably $3 mil short. So I'll get the XL12 starter, take the switch off. If I mount it the same way, it'll be sweet. The tab's different. See that? Plus you can lock the nut into place. Jesus, quiet. See that tab? You can lock it. Bend it out of the way. I'll probably even use these to undo it. Excuse me. There's obviously sawdust all over it. I was thinking today, I've got a Pioneer 1200A hanging up right there. Top end off this might fit it. Even the crankcase and everything. So that might be on the cards. I still got to get seals for the Super XL. Because Pioneer used Homelights design. I don't know if the parts are interchangeable, it could be. So that'll be a video on its own, or 4 or 5. Sorry if they're a bit boring, but I'm doing real time, real world stuff. And it's time consuming. It takes me an hour to film it, takes me an hour to watch it, to edit it, but I don't really do any much, you know. I don't, as you would have seen, I haven't worked out how to, like, doing a startup, how Bucking does it, like boom, 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 so the same scene over and over and over. I haven't worked out how to do that yet. I don't see any need of shortening a piece or anything. I know it's boring, maybe. I'd like to hope not. It's not boring for me. So hopefully I can get this switch out, because I used the vice over in the shed to tighten it down. So I use vice grips to hold it there. I think that's a 17. No, it's a 14 mil, which I don't have on me. Actually, I can use these. Hopefully. Yep. Man, I love this saw. Can't wait to get out bush and use it properly. I've got to get some new Vario clean. That stuff's good for these. So up is on, down is off. Home lights are opposite. So on the switch, home light switch that is, the groove is run, down's off. Probably already know, but I'm telling you. So try and hold it. See if this so the tab, locking tab, is touching, but once it goes down it won't, and it will eliminate movement, if that makes sense. So once it's in where I want it, I'll start again. Once it's where I want it to sit, straight up and down, it won't move the locking plate. So for now, I'll bend it up a touch. So I can sit the switch where I want it, which is there, and this should be a 17. And that's not. Just moved again. Back into place. It's going to continue to twist until it's close. So I'll move it back around. Use the vice grips. And try not to break it in it. This switch looks better on here anyway, to be honest. Must be the red. So it's tight. Now, gotta get these locking tabs one or two of them up. Try and get this one up. Oh, shit. These will be a better pair. Like so. It's not going to focus. Can you see it there? Against the nut. We're done. Shouldn't have to check it works because it works. It worked on the saw it, just took it off. Centering the plate and the air filled at the same time is a bit of a mission because there's no locating holes in the base plate or the top cover. Excuse me, so that's done. Still haven't heard the gate. This old switch. Where it worked. It might still work. There's a bit of crap inside it. Might soak it in carby clean. I reckon it'll still work. So if it still works, I'll put it back on the home light. So yeah, I might open up these louvers a bit more. On the exhaust so it doesn't spray all over the side cover. That should be where it's happy. See that? I'll give it another crack tomorrow maybe. See you on the next one.